Hey guys, I'm Christy Wimberly. I'm the owner of Honest Coffee in downtown Huntsville and downtown Madison. We've been in downtown Huntsville since June of 2017 and in downtown Madison since October of 2022. And today I've got with me Caleb, who's our shop manager in Huntsville, and Dilly, who's our shop manager out in Madison. So I'm going to let both of them tell you a little bit about themselves. We're kind of just going to talk about why we do what we do, why what we do is important to us, and we hope it is to y'all, and then just a little bit of behind the scenes of things you may not know about Honest. Caleb, why don't you start us?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been here since, actually after both of you guys. I started a little bit after Drew.
Well, let's let Dilly go first then, since
Drew's
he's got seniority. So Dilly, you go first.
The longest with a bit of a hiatus, I guess, so.
Yeah, my name's Andrew Loudin. Everyone knows me as Dilly. There's a somewhat interesting story behind that. I walked in 2017, which is the year we opened. I was kind of the second round of original employees there. I came in December, 6 months after we opened. And apparently I looked a lot like...
Well, first of all, we had too many Drews at the time.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, there were 3 Drews or Andrews there already. And then we used to have a coworker named Savannah, and I looked a lot like her ex-boyfriend, Dylan. Christy called me Dylan. Savannah called me Dylan. 7 years later, everyone knows me as Dilly. If you walk in and ask for Andrew, most people won't know who you're talking about. But it's fine. No, it was actually funny how I got the job. There was a guy, one of the Drews actually, Drew Fanning, back in the day. I knew him from a separate part of my life, and I had never been to Honest. And I walked in, and I was working like at Napa at the time, and Drew Fanning was like, "Hey, do you want a job?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And 7 years later now, it all worked out, and I'm the manager out in Madison, and it's pretty sweet. I love it here. I always kind of find it a little funny because I never saw myself as a coffee guy. Not into it. I don't drink it at home. I don't really drink it when I'm at the shop, but I love all the other parts of my job. I love the relationships I get to build there. Most of my best friends are from work, and it also has given me a career and allowed me to, further my life with my wife and get us a house, and it's been great. I plan on being here for as long as Christy keeps me. So that's me.
Yeah. So I moved back to Huntsville in 2017 because I'd gone to college, moved away, came back 17, and then worked at Starbucks for a couple years.
I also worked at Starbucks for like 2 years, maybe, when I was like 17.
Yeah, so I was there for 2 years. I actually I lived in Louisville, which everyone hears me talk about all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Right outside of Louisville, so not technically. But I moved up there to get into coffee, and all that was available at the time was Starbucks, and moved back here and walked in one day, and Christy knew me through other people and was like, "Hey, when do you want to start?" And I was like, "Sure, give me 2 weeks."
They were starting on the spot back then. My interview was 5 seconds on a Saturday.
We still would be if y'all would let me. Y'all are far too.
I'm a little bit more
y'all are far too formal. Yes.
Real quick tangent about hiring. Caleb will take. I always call it. He's going on dates. My man will have an interview, and he will take.
It's a vibe check. That's
no joke. His interview will go for an hour. I've never had an interview that I do last longer than 10, 15 minutes.
Did I even sit down with either one of y'all?
No,
Savannah did with me on a Saturday rush for 30 seconds. She's like, "Just come in tomorrow." I was like, "Perfect."
I was like, it was my off day. I came in to like get coffee and like read. And she was like, "Do you want to start?" And I was like, "I need to give 2 weeks." And you were like, "Okay, what days can you?" Like, I gave her like my schedule, and she was like, "All right, I'll see you in 2 weeks." And I started, and it was funny because you and Fanning were working that day, and I was like, something's wrong because y'all were just like nervous or like tense or whatever. Like, I don't know what it was.
I don't remember this.
My first interaction at Honest was with Fanning, and it was great. And I was like, it was so weird that day because I was like, they hate me. I was like, they don't want me working.
I probably did.
But it was so fun. I mean, that's where we are now too. Yeah. But anyway, I started working here in 20s. I moved back here in 17. Started working here in 18, and it's been August of 18, and it's been with you guys ever since. And it's cool, like having grown up right outside of downtown Huntsville, and we moved here when I was super young, and being familiar with the community, being a part of a essentially brand new year-old shop, and watching the downtown area grow and being a part of it. Like, that's what I wanted. Like, I got into coffee because of the community aspect. And when I was in Tuscaloosa for school, I worked at a very small, like, volunteer-based coffee shop. And I was like, I think it's just like hanging out with people. Like, that's kind of the best part of it.
That is the job
You
is
know?
hanging out with
It is,
for
yeah.
sure. Friends.
And like,
That
I
is
love coffee. Like, I mean, I drink way too much coffee, but like, more of it, it's like, I think our job is curating a space for
Yes.
people to be. And that's, I mean, down to the music, down to like kind of the atmosphere when people walk in,
that's one of the differences actually I've noticed since I was in Huntsville for almost 7 years. It was 6.5 years. And then in Madison, the biggest difference I noticed, people come to Madison to hang out a lot more, I would say. And I mean, that obviously might, the location of the downtown Huntsville shop lends itself to a lot of foot traffic. But people do come to hang out
You
there
guys are a
and sit
destination.
there for 7 hours and just, with whatever, and they're hanging out with friends or they're just doing homework. But yeah, I would say that's the major difference I've noticed the most.
And I think that's like the big difference. Yeah, the big difference is people are seeking to come to your location.
Right.
People stumble into ours because we're by the courthouse. We've got all this like lawyers' offices. People are like, or the park. There's events going on. People are just wanting coffee.
Yeah.
But for you, people are specifically coming to see you guys. So
Right.
I think that's why the atmosphere and the vibe is so important.
It
people
is.
are looking for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. And funny thing, you mentioned music. That's one thing, Christy. we had to work on Christy for a while because there was some pretty specific, like, don't listen to that, whatever. But
What would I not let you listen to?
what I listen to now.
Bro Country?
No.
no,
I
you're
don't,
fine,
I don't
Bro
do
Country.
that. We
No,
would
it
do
was-
Saturday, like,
Saturday Bro Country
Country
days
pop.
were the best.
What
We would do
would
that.
I not let you listen to?
I listen to a lot of two genres. One of them pretty acceptable. It's the whole Noah Khan, right? They had that vibe, right? But my other, which Caleb hates, but my number one that Christy did not love was a lot of like Alice in Chains.
Oh,
Or
like Sarah's
like
music.
heavier
Oh,
stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that is
Yeah, we had
Sarah's
to
music.
move-
Stone Temple
Yeah.
Pilots.
Yeah,
we
move
would
into
like
like the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're
heavier
not
stuff.
afraid to have.
not afraid, and people dig it. I promise
like-
you.
Yeah,
Like,
nobody
they're-
likes a quiet coffee shop
No,
better than
they
just
don't.
Metallica playing in the
Yeah.
background.
No, I know exactly. Like especially on a
slow
Saturday.
Saturday morning, and we're just like blasting Alice
Sure,
in Chains.
but that
or,
slow
like,
Saturday morning
Yeah.
quickly becomes 7,000
Oh,
people out the
wild.
door.
Yeah.
And it just looks like a movie montage. Listen to, like you said, Metallica in the
Yeah.
background. It's incredible.
So this is what I love about it is you were not a coffee drinker.
No.
You were an avid coffee drinker. I wasn't a coffee drinker.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So the reason we even have Honest is because my boss in college, and you know this story, you tell this story in your hour-and-a-half interviews.
You gotta get
I
to
tell a
know-
very short
People got to
version
get
of
to
this.
know where
Yeah.
they're working.
But my boss in college had reached out to me. He had gotten partnered with the Honest Coffee, the original shop in Franklin, Tennessee, and they were looking for a director of operations and wanted me to move home.
Right.
And this was in 2016. And I'm originally from Nashville. And so my daughters at the time were in middle school, and I had made Huntsville home and really liked it, didn't want to move home. And so I ended up starting as a partnership. Back in 2017, we opened as a partnership. I had a really small ownership in the business and was able to run it as my own from the beginning, which is what appealed to me, is all the things that we're talking and laughing about. The culture of our shop is we can go back through the years and name the people and their playlists or their latte styles or their humor or what they brought to our food menu. Honest Coffee in Huntsville and Madison, in my mind, is built on everybody that's come through there. I am so thankful to be able to now own fully. I was able to buy the partners out in September of 2019, right before our pandemic struck, which was a whole, we talked a little bit about it when I was on Clark's show, but it was a whole different season to walk through owning that business by myself. I was able to make decisions that I knew were best without having to get approval. For those of y'all who were with me at the time, I mean, it was an amazing return of love from the community back to us because they took care of us. I mean, none of us went without jobs. None of us went without paychecks. it was just really just an outpouring of like why we do what we do. And we tease you about your interviews, but you always share that in interviews.
Yeah.
And I think it's important because the reason we are what we are is our culture. And our culture has very little to do with me and very little to do with you or you. It has to do with everybody that's ever worked there. Anybody who's ever had a creative idea, anybody who's ever said, I want to make this syrup, anybody who's ever said, I want to do this food item, anybody that's organized a shelf for us or come up with a better way to do things. In 2024, Honest Coffee, I believe, is successful because we have been very blessed by the people that have come through that we can name and give credit to and be thankful for. But all this stuff we're talking about and laughing about, that energy that people feel when they stumble into your shop or seek out your shop, it's very intentional that it's a warm and welcoming place. And so it's been a crazy adventure. I'm so thrilled that I learned how to appreciate coffee because it's changed my life. And through that, what we've kind of tried to do in our own way is with all the exposure we've gotten, with the foot traffic we get, with the social media growth that we've had, we've got a really good platform to be able to focus on other businesses and charitable situations in our community. And so we've kind of done that through the years. If there's ever been startups, we've partnered with bakeries through the years. We've had pop-up shops for artisans at our shop. We just try to use the success that we've had to help people that are getting started out. I'm not exactly sure when we did our first charitable bowl, but you've kind of taken over that, Caleb. Why don't you talk about some of what we've been able to do with our partnerships with our lattes and our Ross Abels?
Yeah. I think it's cool just because we are, that big community focus, we are able to use our platform, to speak and, kind of grow people. So, the first drink I remember hearing about was the Nutcracker, which
I think that may be
y'all
one
did
of
that before I even started,
Okay.
which is it's a peppermint Cuban essentially.
It's a fan favorite.
It's a fan favorite.
Every
People
year.
get upset if we don't bring it back, but it's and that was that's partnering with Huntsville Ballet, and so a portion of those proceeds goes towards supporting the arts, and so
making sure y'all know. So the reason we do that is because that money that we give to Huntsville Ballet goes directly back into our schools. One of the things that I was always impressed that Huntsville Ballet did is they go into the schools and they do an art education program. And then third graders across Huntsville get to come and see the Nutcracker every year.
That's how I saw it growing up.
You probably
that's
saw
so
it
funny.
growing
Yeah,
up.
I did. Yeah.
And so that is a way that we can help third graders get exposure to the arts that, as we know, government funding for that is less and less all the time. But we started that, I think we started that the second year. I don't think we did that the first year.
We didn't.
So we started that in December of 18.
Okay.
And it has been incredible to see the people that look forward to it every Christmas. And how much money we're able to raise now year after year. And it's so that's right. That was probably the first one I can really remember. That is an annual one that we do now.
Yeah, and it's huge. I mean, we see Abby come in all the time, and she's one of the ballet dancers. And I was talking to her about they're doing 4 seasons, and they're also doing because I've never been to the ballet other than the Nutcracker when I was in 3rd grade. You know what I mean? And so we were just talking about different shows she was doing. I was like, that's really cool. And so being able to meet the community in that aspect and know that hey, I'm supporting the schools, which I didn't realize that's where that funneled to, which is really cool. Just knowing that we supported the ballet, which is supporting the arts is huge. But we also I remember partnering with we did that Amaretto latte.
That was Budding Hope.
Budding Hope Ministries. That's right. So they provide safe houses for abused women and children, and being able to partner with them is huge. That's a big deal, and it's an unseen community, and so we get to help. So
they
with that.
actually were raising money for minors that had been trafficked. There was not a safe house for minors that had been trafficked.
That's right.
And so that's one of the things I've really enjoyed about the partnerships is now that we've done it for so many years, people approach us and we get a lot of questions about it. And I have learned so much, like this one we're doing currently with the Enrichment Center.
Yeah.
That's counseling in the schools. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, there are so many programs that we did the one last month with Wellstone. And
yeah.
I have been amazed at stuff that goes on in our community that unless you know about, you just don't know about.
Yeah. And it's cool because we get to work with these nonprofits, but we also get to work with like new businesses as well. Like I love obviously like supporting these nonprofits, but getting somebody's name out. So, I mean, we worked with Little Dipper for a while, and like they supplied a lot of our pastries and a lot of our bagels.
And now, in case y'all don't know, they now have opened their own shop on Whitesburg. So they've got their own facility now.
And nothing. I mean, it's not because of us, but it's cool that we get to work with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like we've worked with Mason-Dixon in the past, which is like one of the only gluten-free restaurants here in town.
Your favorite spot?
Yeah, I Canadian.
Yep.
Like we worked with Canadian Bacon, and I'm there.
Before Matt ever opened his opened his shop.
Matt was just at the
Green
farmers
Street.
markets, and now I'm in there a couple times a week. Sometimes, like hanging out with Canadian over there is great, and we're working with Coin Co-working next year, and you're doing just a promotional thing, and so like being able to. We have partnerships. I don't know if I've told you yet. We have something every month until March or April.
Yeah.
So we're getting planning on our schedule. Like somebody came in today. I was like, hey, can we work? I was like, I'm busy in March, but I have May open, I think. And like, and it's not, once again, it's not because of us, but it's like, we're not doing it for ourselves. Like we're doing it because I get to say, hey, we're working with the Enrichment Center and we're supporting these people who are helping kids, and it's not, I'm not telling people that. I just want to support the Enrichment Center.
Right.
Like it's not about that. It's about just letting them be known, that's what I want. And I think it's less about us and it's just us being a platform for people, that's what we want to do. I think that's a big part of our shop is the concept of, everybody's welcome within our shop. And so like we create these spaces like we've already talked about, but like, I talk about during the interviews, how we grew and we were able to hire during COVID and we did everything we were supposed to do. And, I took your advice or asked your business philosophy of like, what do you want for your shop? And you were like, I want everyone to be treated with kindness, because everybody understands whether you're 5 to like 55, like, are you being kind or are you being mean? And I like laughed about that. I was like, okay, cool. But like, I saw that the community responded to us because of your kindness to the community. And so like when I was given the opportunity to lead and to be the manager, like my view is everybody eats at my table. Like, so I want every business to come in and work with us that like supports the community as well. So like everything I want to do within our shop, I want it to be community focused,
Well, and I think
forward.
you've done a really nice job of keeping that organized for us, keeping it creative, all the marketing efforts that go forward and all that. I mean, it's not a little bit of work. You've really done a nice job.
That's
running
Haley
that running that
Haley
program.
and Ellie
And Haley and
behind the
Ellie.
scenes. That's for
All right.
sure.
So what about you, man? What are some of the parts you like about being involved with Honest?
Like I said, not being your classic like.
You get to dress like that.
I do. I do. Hey, Christy told me to look cute today, so this is me looking cute.
I didn't get that memo.
Yeah, Caleb didn't get
Shorts and a
it.
t-shirt.
No, I love it. I look at Honest. I tell everybody that in my interviews, how I look at Christy. So I'm just going to talk about kind of her for a second. Christy is, she's not only my boss, but she's without question the number one person in my life I go to for advice, for mentorship, for just random good news or bad news. She gets a phone call. She's heard plenty of those. And I want to lead the way she led me. She hired me when I was 21, I believe. I was it was a long time ago. And I was more than
21, every bit of 21.
I was a loser. I was every bit of 21. That is right. But over the last 7 years or so, growing and her watching me grow and me kind of watching her grow, it's honestly been a treat. And that's how I like to lead the people that now I get to hire and the team I get to build. And as she mentioned, there are people that work with us and it's just for a season of their life and they come in and they'll work for a summer or just a year. And we don't understand that. We understand that we are a coffee shop, and a lot of college kids like to come in and work with us and just get through school and then they all move off. And I mean, her daughter did that and it was great. But there are also those, people that come and they want to stay. And we mentioned a girl named Ellie. She is now my assistant manager out in Madison, who we worked with her for about 2 years now, and watching her grow. And I just love to watch these. I am a young person, but also watching other young people kind of develop and succeed is my favorite part. Again, I like the relationship fostering I get to do. Mm-hmm. And as Caleb is more on the side of the community aspect and the focusing on businesses and whatnot, I feel just a personal attachment to everybody that walks in and, wants a job with me. I take it very seriously. And I tell them all, like, we do take our job, like, what we do is serious. We get it. But it's also, we want you to be comfortable here. We want you to just come in, and we joked about it's just kind of hanging out with friends. And that honestly is how it feels. And I don't know. I don't know. I love everything about just the relationships I get to build. That's a very ineloquent way of saying.
No, it's not. I thought you did it that was very well said.
I don't know. That's what I love about it. And
I mean, you've told me when we were interviewing people together, like when you were training in your management, like you would tell interviewees, like, we take what we do seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. Like, we make a good product. We are very proud of the coffee and the sandwiches, but we make one cup of coffee and one sandwich at a time. Like, it's not that deep. Like, busy Saturdays, like, lines out the door, it's okay. Like, it's okay. Just, let's not stress about this.
It can feel stressful, but everyone is feeling stressful, and it's just fun.
St. Patty's Day is not stressful.
St. Patty's Day. This year, St. Patty's Day, I think it was a busy day, wasn't it? I think it was the record day.
You were off that day.
Oh, I took
you took
that day.
This is fun.
I was out of town.
Caleb took off on St. Patty's Day, which wound up being the busiest day in the company's history.
Yeah.
And so Christy, thank God, rolled in like 8 a.m., had no intention of being there, and she stood there for like 6 hours and just helped me pour lattes, and it was unbelievable. And it's just funny at that point. It's because, again, everyone's running around sweating it, and I'm like, okay, these people, everyone gets it. You're gonna get, you might wait 20 minutes, but you're gonna get your coffee at the end of the day on days like that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was really fun.
I'm not. I enjoyed my day off.
I'm sure you
I was
did.
out of town.
Caleb takes off on a lot of fun days.
I go out
like
of town
that.
all the time, actually.
All the time, lots of time
for
off.
sure. I'm actually
hardly
at the shop.
That's a fact.
Cut my hours back this week, by the way.
Yeah, get on out of here, man.
24 hours.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. That's
couple
great.
days a week.
That's
Y'all
great.
got it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Y'all don't need me.
That is true.
Yeah.
But
all right, Caleb, what else you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
I don't know. Like, Drew mentioned kind of your mentorship for us, and for the team, and that's something that you've always encouraged us to kind of take on with the new, our new members and our team leads. And I think I've always viewed our leadership as a top down. Like, I think the reason people get behind us is because of you, because of your, you're on the floor making coffee, you are running drinks, you're busting tables when it's bad luck for me and Drew and bad luck for us, and we forget a table, but you're fighting alongside us, and we do that with our team. We've all had jobs where people just walk in and they're like, well, manager's here, it's gonna be a bad day, and that's not how any of us approach that.
I'll tell you what, and I can feel it. It's really neat now that, because it's funny, y'all all know me, and the original group knew me. Like, everybody knew me. We know each other's bad stories, good stories, everything. And as we've grown, and now we're at the 2 stores, and I'm splitting my time, a lot of the new babies don't really know me. And I see...
And they're scared of you.
And they're scared of me. And it's very funny to see. And you guys know how intense I am, and y'all know everything's a sports analogy, and we're gonna approach it. Yeah, go team, go sports. But
that's right.
The level of expectation I have for y'all, I know I set a high bar for what I want, but I also want to always have fun. So I think that's kind of how we've done so well is whether we're making coffee and the expectations of the quality for that or the food, and y'all joke me on the tables, but table maintenance is every bit as important because our customer sees that as we care. And that's really our whole mission why we're here is we care. We're a place in the community that we want it to be fun. We want it to be rowdy. My favorite, I think, was the Instagram message that we got. You know this. Do you know this one? You may not know this one. We got an Instagram request to put cameras in the shop
Like a
because one
live
of our
stream.
regulars said
Yes.
that they wanted to make sure they didn't miss any of the antics when they were traveling.
Yeah,
They could-
we flirted with that idea for a very brief
So,
minute of
yeah.
doing like little.
Oh, that's right. Y'all
Yeah,
wanted
we
to do
talked
the
about it.
live on the iPads at the
and
bar.
We were gonna have like little, almost like play into it, like almost like a mockumentary kind of deal, which
That'd
would
be
be
fun.
hilarious, but
Yeah.
also who knows. But that would actually be such a good time, getting to do that. One of the things, what was I saying? Chrissy mentioned she wants it to be fun, and like it genuinely is. And one thing I've learned from her, the reason we have such good employees is because she, from the start, made it a fun place to work and a place, and also not only does she do that, she also is a mentor, and she actually listens to you, and she doesn't have to do that.
Yeah.
We're her employees. She's our boss, but she
Yeah.
genuinely cares about us, and I've learned. I'm sure Caleb would say the exact same thing. When you make your place feel like that and feel like it's a place that people want to be, they want to work hard for you.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
want to disappoint us.
But you
And-
say it like I'm doing something. I mean, who wants to be a boss? I mean,
Yeah.
right. No,
there's
but
there's
it's
no
still,
joy in being a boss. There's a joy
But
in...
it is still what you did.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely how you, I don't know, cultivated this air that is just in that
Yeah.
shop that people can feel. And not only do the customers feel that, the employees feel that. And
Yeah.
they want to work hard.
And
And because I never wanted to disappoint, I have disappointed Christy definitely several
Just
times.
like last week.
Just last
Yeah,
week.
just
no,
last
no,
week.
Yeah.
This is not a
That
joke.
was- yeah,
last week,
last week.
very much so.
was a
Me and
rough-
Caleb both
Yeah.
did something.
And you were
disappointed
happy
Christy.
that Caleb did as well.
I was
Yeah.
thrilled when I learned that I was not the only one that messed up, and I called him that night. He's like, "Dude," and I was like, "Thank goodness
no,
it
we
wasn't just me."
both messed up.
Oh yeah, Christy walked in the next day. Thank God she was with her daughter Addie, and I was like, "Hey Addie," and she's like, "Yeah, you don't want to see me," and I was
Yeah.
like, "No, I
Nope,
don't, not
nope.
today."
And then we got over it, and then we
but
laughed
but
about it,
we
you know
we
what I
talked
mean?
with her, and we get over it because again, it's not that serious. We
Yeah.
fix it, but just again, because I don't want to disappoint her, and now that is just how our employees act. We make it a place that they want to be.
Well, I think for me, like that started for a long. I can't remember what the event was. Like, we saw each other as at like an outside thing, and I like introduced you to like my friends or to my parents, and you were like, "No, hey, I'm Christy. I'm Caleb's friend," and I was like, "You were like after work." There is no, I'm not your boss when you're
Yeah.
not on the clock. Like, we're here, we're vibing, we're at a concert, or like I saw you at dinner or whatever. And it's
Right.
like, we're hanging out, we're just friends right now. And
Yeah.
I saw that, you came to at, a funeral of my, of a family member, and you met my family, and you're like, "Hey, I'm Caleb's friend. I'm here, in this capacity as a friend." And I was like, yeah, most people would be like, "I'm your boss." And even now, like, when I talk about coworkers at work, I'm like, "Oh, my coworker," or this person I work with, and it's never like my employee, because
Right.
like I don't want to be that guy. Like,
No.
nobody wants to be that
You
guy. I tell everybody, we've all had crappy bosses. I don't want to be one. Like, communicate with me, let me know. Nothing. We talk about issues. Like, no one ever really gets in trouble.
No.
Like, first major thing I did was, lose a deposit. And
You didn't lose it.
I didn't lose it. I found it. I accidentally dropped the deposit into the mailbox by mistake, and had to contact the postal workers. And I was like, "That's a lot of money." And she was like, "We'll eat it. If you can't get it back, like, it's not that deep." Like, and I could think of a bunch of things that have happened, like,
I ordered 12 cases of the wrong milk. We ate all that.
Yeah, that was skim milk.
that
That
was-
was
yeah,
right.
that
That was
a
your skim
lot,
milk.
yeah.
That was your skim milk.
Yeah.
But y'all talk about this. I'm very fortunate. I naturally just really like people. So I get to do something where I spend time. I mean, I hug necks and goof off is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what
Yeah.
I do.
Absolutely.
And I get the pleasure of spending time with lots of young people in lots of different seasons of their life. And I have made plenty of mistakes in my life. And now at 50 years old, it's really neat to be able to, for anybody that wants it, be able to offer advice. I have met a lot of people in the time that I've lived in Huntsville, and it's one of the neatest things I get to do downtown is make connections with other people that have skills, that are seeking skills,
Yeah.
and make those connections. As my young people are coming through that are looking for other jobs, I've reached out to people that I know in different industries. And it's very, very fulfilling for me to give you a nice warm cup of coffee and a nice warm experience and watch people's kids grow up, and Allison doing the flowers. I mean,
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
our stroller brigade. I mean, it is,
Stroller brigade.
I mean, we have been so blessed and so fortunate to have a community grow up around us. I'll never forget standing across the street in September of 16 thinking we're too early. We're going in, we're putting this coffee shop in, and it's too early. And we opened the doors, and a month later, we made the plans to expand.
Yeah.
And we've been full, and we've been overflowing, and it's been loud, and it's been fun. And I will be honored to be able to do this with you two and anybody else that wants to grow with us as long as we get to do it. And I want to thank y'all for sweet things. This went a different direction than we talked more about our relationships, but I think that's really what makes
That's what it
Honest.
is.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's these special relationships we have with each other and with our
Absolutely.
team members and the people that come in. That I mean, had regular today come in, and you don't get it because you work in Madison now, but had a regular come in, bring everybody biscuits.
Allie?
Tommy.
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 Oh,
yeah.
Allie
Okay.
brings treats. I
Allie
mean,
brings treats.
Allie
Yeah.
promised me
Can we
treats
can we
yesterday. I
plug
saw
Sugar
her.
Pusher here?
yes,
Sugar
please.
Pusher.
Allie with Sugar Pusher is
God,
our
she is,
a
and
doll.
She brings
anything
treats
she
all
posts
the time.
online, like for her little, like for not her little Instagram, but for her business, for her
Yeah.
Instagram, like she'll
She
bring
brings
us the
loveys.
treats.
She brings
All the
so
time.
lovey stuff.
we got
I mean,
like South Star, Blink 182, like
yeah.
cookies and like
Yeah.
and she knows
Great.
people have dietary restrictions, so she
Right.
always makes sure she labels
Yeah.
them for us. I mean, it's just,
yeah.
it's overwhelming what an awesome experience this
Mm-hmm.
has been.
Absolutely. I could not agree more.
Yeah. It's been a fun 7 years.
Yeah.
Gee, I mean it's wild to think like
It is wild. It cannot
the shop's
believe
been
that.
open for 7
Seven?
years.
So it was, yeah, it was May of 17.
17,
Yeah,
so I've been
my-
here for 6.
My screen was rolling the other day of our 5-year birthday party.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
And I
yeah.
thought, it's not going to be long before we're planning a 10-year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Absolutely.
you've got to book our Christmas reservations
Anyway, you talk about that.
for our holiday party.
Perfect.
You're in charge.
I'm always in charge of the parties.
Always in charge of the parties.
I sure am. And they
All
always
right, well,
turn
that's
out.
us. That's
Yeah,
honest.
that's
Yeah,
honest.
that's it.
Thanks
Uh,
for
I enjoyed being behind the cubicle. I guess this
Yeah.
is a little bit of behind the scenes on us, what we
Yeah.
do, what we're really like. Serious is not our mode, but
no.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah, this is a definitely different vibe. Come get some B-roll at our shop when it's a busy Saturday, and you'll fully understand.
Yeah,
what it's
absolutely.
like.
Please do. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for letting us come on.
thanks
Yeah,
for letting us
absolutely.
come on. We
Appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.